Hi there, everyone. It is John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur, and welcome once again to IFYL Inspirations for Your Life. If you are new, you'll see on the top right corner a QR code. Use your phone to scan that QR code, and once you do that, you'll be directed off to my link tree. So, definitely want to do that to help you become a better version of yourself and help others become better versions of themselves as well. Every single day, we have a topic, and that's a subtopic based on the master topic of the week. We'll talk about that in just a moment. And it goes from Saturday and it ends on Friday. So it's a 7-day series where we give you lots of great information to help improve your life and others. If you are coming back to my channel, well, welcome back, friends, colleagues, and associates. It's wonderful to have you here to follow me and support me. I really do appreciate it. And hopefully some of the new guys will become just like you that have been following me for so very long. Now, if you're wondering, what is that topic, John? I'll show you. It's what is the tip of the iceberg? Now, think of the iceberg, if you will, almost like a pen, right? So when we write, okay, we press the button and we get a tip of a pen. Now, the pen, what we write with is here. However, there's a lot more to the pen that we don't see, which is the rest of the ink that flows down. All right, when we think about the tip of the iceberg, the tip is what we see or what we're perceiving at the outer level. That's all we see and what others see, but we don't see what's below. Now, I want to talk about something that's pretty cool, and that is what we call the basics. You know, showing up, making phone calls, having a great attitude, okay, and doing the things you need to do is just that. That is the tip of the iceberg. But that's not alone going to get you success. To be successful, you need to be different. You need to be creative. You need to be trustworthy. You need to be able to have a unique way to package what it is you do. You need to care about others, and you need to listen and understand them. You need to take your sales hat off and throw it away and realize that you are a consultant. If we're talking about sales, we're talking about relationships, you still want to realize something very important. When someone says something and they're venting to you, that's not the time for you to go and try to defend yourself. It's just the time to hear what they're saying. Now, when we think about life every day, you know, life is the biggest game. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that if you don't suit up, put the right armor on, the right clothes on every single day before you leave your home, well, you're going to get annihilated in war during the day. So you have to make sure that you put on the right persona when you leave your house. Very important. Now, attitude is key to achieving success. I'll tell you something else that's key. Being informal. Now, you might say, John, everything's formal in life. It is. However, when you're informal, that's a great way to break the ice with people, especially people that have big egos. Just connect, and maybe you'll find something that you have in common. And when you do that, their guard's not going to be up. They're going to be a little more nonchalant. And so when we think about being successful, because everybody wants to be successful, think about it from the perspective of the pen or from the iceberg. What everyone else sees up here is just that tip of the pen. That's all they see. No one can see anything below here. However, what's below here is what takes the pen and allows it to eject out and allows it to write. If we didn't know what was behind, we wouldn't be able to do certain things in life. Now, I meet lots of people every day and each week, and so many of them have egos, unfortunately. And the reason they have egos is because they're insecure. They want to be able to tell you that they're more important than everyone else. But the first thing I say is, I'm good at that, but there might be somebody better. And I'm open to your feedback and your suggestions. You see, people that, let's just say, have made a lot of money mostly are under an ego that, when they're somewhere, their presence, and they have this whole thing that, you know, they're like this creator of the world. Now, they are creators, but they're not the creator of the world. And so you might say, John, but they're doing so well. They have 10 offices, they have 100 offices. I don't care. Because just because they have the money doesn't mean that they're able to create everything in their life. Now, money's one part of your life. It's not every part of your life. There's relationships. Now, you might say to me, John, well, if the money comes, does everything else come? Yes and no. Because if you're not in the right state of mind, then you're just not going to be there. Now, when somebody wants to do something and they do it from a perspective of ego, you're going to have this reservation about wanting to connect with them. Also, when you get somebody with an ego, realize and treat this person respectfully, but don't fall over them. Okay? Don't fall over them. Now, they're expecting you to fall over them. Why? So they can put you in your place and they can decide what they're going to do. I had a conversation with someone recently. The person always said to me, John, I'm always busy. And I said, you know what? No one's always busy. They make a priority that what I'm doing is more important than when something else is. So people that are busy always seem to get the things done that they want to get done. But other things that other people ask them for don't get done. Is that a bad thing? No, it's not a bad thing. However, it does cause this ego to overflow in a way that can be excessively annoying, in some ways, narcissistic. And so, how do you handle people like this? Well, realize that what you're seeing on them is the tip of the iceberg, right? Everything that makes up who they are as a person, as a character, is below the surface. Take a few moments to get to know them and what they do. And a lot of times they might say to you, well, gee, I have a busy practice or I have a busy office. And the first thing you can say to them is, well, that's great. I'm happy for you. But if you want to do something, you'll make time for it. You and I both know that. And what you're going to find is that these people are going to move away from you in one sense because they're embarrassed. They know that they have time. And the reason I tell you this is these same people online, they brag about when they go away. They brag about when they do all these things. I never like to do that. My personal life is my personal life. And when they brag about the things that they do in their life, you might say, oh, gee, they're so successful. Yeah, but do they really have to tell everybody everything they do? No. But they do it to stroke their ego, and it makes them feel better as a person. And then somebody said to me, John, I'm growing. We've got some. I said, well, maybe the problem isn't so much that you're growing, but the fact that you're now putting an emphasis on a part of your life only without another part of your life. So you have to have balance between your personal life and your business life. Your business life is very important. And as you guys all know, I'm passionate about mine. However, your personal life is very, very important. Okay? You want to go do something, you do it. Now, the other thing that they do is they blame it on, well, I have 8 kids. I have 10 kids. Now, I'm single. I'm me, myself, and I'm very happy. And when they say that, and then they say, well, gee, I have 6, I have 8 kids, and that's why. No, it's not why. It's because you have made a decision in your mind that everything you do is more important than someone else. And although you're not directly putting someone down, you're doing it indirectly. Because if you never have time, that's a problem. There was a study in Harvard, and they said, don't say you're busy. Be truthful about what it is you're doing. Tell the person you'd like to take a rain check, or be honest with the person. Say, you know what? I'm really not that into that, or I really don't want to do that. Don't make excuses. I asked the same person if they would help with a charity project I was working on. And you know what they said to me? John, I'm really busy. I said, I know you're really busy. I don't expect you to get involved yourself. You can appoint someone that works for you and make it their baby. And you know what they said to me? Well, we'll see. So that told me that my project was not important enough for them. And you know, that's okay. But when I met this person and I got to meet them informally, outside of their building, outside of their entourage, maybe just their car and a few friends, they were a little different. They were a little more, I don't want to say humble, but their guards were down. And now that I have made my peace and I've said what I wanted to say, I won't do that again. Somebody that cannot value the communication that I bring to the table is somebody I don't want to be around. Now, you might say, gee, well, you know, they're helping this charity, they're helping this. But you know why they're helping them? They're not helping them just to do good. They're helping them because they're getting their name out there, or they're helping them because they're looking for a favor. Maybe not today, but maybe tomorrow. And so your life is an iceberg. Everything above this silver area here is the tip. The stuff that everyone else sees in the world, the stuff that you see, the stuff that people can challenge you on. But it's this stuff below here that brings the strength and the core to what it is you're doing. So if somebody says to you, well, gee, you're not very good at that, don't lose sleep over what somebody says. Who cares what they say? You don't need validation in life. And if you do, you're not a business owner. You're not an entrepreneur. You don't need validation. You're doing what you do because of a passion in your life. I've told you this before. If you're passionate about something, the money will follow. It will. It's inevitable. So all week we're talking about the tip of the iceberg, and knowing that just because you show up, just because you do the right things, just because you make phone calls, just because you're in business extras doesn't mean anything to some people. You got to get below. You got to get creative. And then I remember having a conversation with this person. I said, you know, everybody's busy, right? He said, well, you know, we're all busy. And then when I came out and I said to the person, people aren't busy. They think they're busy. They just have higher priorities on something else. Because let's think about this for a moment. I'm busy, you're busy. You want to meet with me. I'm going to make time to meet with you if I want to meet with you. So don't tell me you're busy. Be truthful with me and come on the carpet and say what you mean. I'm tired of cowards. I'm tired of people that are trying to, let me just tiptoe a little bit. Let me not offend feelings. We're not here to worry if we offend somebody's feelings. I'm not saying to be rude, but I'm also telling you, don't lie to people. Don't lead them on. We know this a lot in dating, right? People lead them on. Don't lead people on in business or in friendship. Don't lead them on. Don't. Because it's not going to work out well for you or for them. And when somebody says to you, maybe we'll see, your response would just be okay. And let it go. Let it go. That's it. I think people, regardless of the position, whether they're athletes, whether they're top doctors, they have this ego trip. And they live life because of an ego, because they want to get that ego filled and stroked. However, they're not humble enough to break bread with you and I. I was in the presence of a gentleman a while back, and I used one of my techniques, and I wanted to ask a question. It was at a conference. This was quite a few years back. And I said to myself, I want to ask a question, but my question's not appropriate for this large group because I don't want to share my question with the group. And I also probably won't get a full answer. I said, what would be nice? To be in the same limo with this guy on our way back to the airport. The conference ended. That night I got into the limo, and guess who was in there? The person giving the presentation. And the dynamic changed. It went from a presentation to just being informal. You see, when people are informal, they don't have to hide behind a brass ring, a gold watch, or a facade. They are who they are. This is why I love to meet people outside of their environments. Because when you're on neutral territory, people are more humble. Because remember, none of the environment belongs to either of you. So it's neutral. So I have a question for you, ladies and gentlemen. How do you deal with somebody who's larger than life, that believes they're it? They're like everything. Maybe they are to themselves, but they're not everything to everyone. When you approach somebody like this and they tell you, well, gee, we got to put you in our calendar. I'm not talking about talk shows. I'm talking about just somebody every day. And they make themselves seem more important than they are. But when you catch them in an informal setting, they change. Is it because we're both human? Is it because there's a curiosity to want to know what makes you tick? Is it because you showed a genuine interest in that person? There could be a lot of reasons. But one thing you can never do is negate somebody's belief. If they believe doing what they do is important, I always say to them, look, everybody does what they think is important. And I know one thing. As busy as I am, if I want to meet with somebody, I'll make it happen. Because busy becomes an excuse for the tip of the iceberg. I'm busy. No, you're not. You just have this ego that you're so in demand. Now, it's nothing wrong to be in demand. But when people can't come to you and you can't approach them, and they have these entourages, and they just can't do anything unless it's with an ego, that's a serious problem. Some people go their entire lives, and they think just because they're making tons of money or they have the perfect wife or spouse or significant other, that they're it, that they've got everything they need in life. And what they wind up finding halfway through or later through their life, that they're actually not happy. They have everything they want, but the one thing they don't have is humility. And humility is something you can have no matter what age you are, no matter what career you're in. I started doing something many years ago, ladies and gentlemen, on all my emails, personal and corporate. I signed my emails with a very interesting ending. Warmest regards, with gratitude, and then my name. People are like, what the heck's that all about? I said, well, I really just want to thank you. I want to express gratitude for your time and thank you. And they're like, well, why? And I remember talking to somebody one time, and just because I had it in the email, they came back and said, John, I want to work with you. Okay, what made you? Anybody that puts that kind of a phrase on all their emails, I want them to be in my court. What do you say? You say, I don't know what to say, sir. I don't know what to say. But don't say anything. When you realize that respect is something that you need to be eliciting, not because you have to, but because you want to, it opens doors of possibility that will enable you to catch insights. Now, this conversation I had with a gentleman not too long ago might have never happened anywhere else because their entourage would have blocked me. I remember several years ago, I had an appointment with this gentleman, and I had waited and got the appointment because I actually sent a message, and nobody would get back to me. So I sent a letter, and then I called, and I said, why is it that I can make a phone call to God, and they're so nice, but why is it that I can't get through to you? Like, what makes you guys be able to just block certain people? What's the reason for that? When I was being nothing but kind. And so I got a call back from the practice manager. It went as far back to go to the practice doctor's wife. And they scheduled an appointment with me to come in. And I was early. And I remember them having some food like sandwiches and whatnot. And they said, help yourself to whatever you like, cookies and whatnot. And the doctor will be right with you. And I said, okay, fine. And about 5 or 10 minutes, an MA comes in, medical assistant comes in and says, oh, he's real busy. I said, no problem, I'll wait, not a problem. I'm waiting there almost 35, 45 minutes. I've had the sandwich, I've had some dessert. They said, oh, we'll have some more, he'll be with you in a little bit. An hour goes by. And not the doctor, but another MA comes in and says, oh, John, I'm real sorry. Excuse me? And then the practice manager comes and says, yeah, we're real sorry. What do you mean you're sorry? Oh, the doctor's not going to be able to meet with you tonight. He had an emergency. And I just sat back in the chair and said, well, did you want more food or you want more? No, I don't want anything. And I didn't know what to say. But that day caused me to lose a lot of respect for that person. The person didn't even get back to me to tell me that they had an emergency. I was like nothing to them. And my message here is, remember, everyone in your life is something. Even if you can't help them, even if they can't help you, everyone means something. If you don't want to help them, that's fine, but be courteous to people. Right? Be courteous. I know different people on the street, they're always asking for money. And I know I wanted to give to them, but I said to myself, why am I doing this? Because this is not going to help them. So I reached out and I gave him a phone number and a name. And he said, what the blank is this? I'm looking for money. I said, this is a lady at the Career Center, and I know she can work with you to get you a job. He cursed me out, tore the thing apart, and just held a sign up and went to the next car. Now, I have to ask you a question. If somebody is being given a gift to be able to get them a job, isn't that better than somebody just saying, hey, I'll give you money for today? Because they don't have a job, they're begging. And so I was a little hurt by that. Because that person did not really have the integrity or the morale to do what was right. They wanted to take an easy way out. That's terrible. And it brings me back to this same person who was very well off. And when I saw this person a few days ago, I said to the person, when I met them, I didn't even address them as doctor. I just was very informal with them. And when I realized it was who I thought it was, because I recognized a family member that was there. And it was a very light conversation. There was no guard. It was very light. And I said, you remember, I'm the guy a couple of years ago that you had a meeting with and you never showed up because you had an emergency. He didn't have a response. He didn't have a response. But I'm going to tell you something. I believe that my conversation that I had with this person is going to go deep into his head. I believe that he will at least become involved with my charity. I don't know when, but I believe this gentleman will do the right thing. And the reason that he doesn't get people to him is because he has a soft heart. And so by keeping everybody at bay, he feels that's the best way that he can protect himself. Pretty strange, isn't it? Knowing that you say something, and when you say it, it's truth. I will also tell you something else. Somebody that does not extend a hand to you, forget COVID or non-COVID, because it's kind of in a remission now. When somebody doesn't reach out to want to shake your hand when you make that expression, or even after you've had a conversation, I'm such and such, I didn't even have a formal introduction. It was informal. And it was like I knew who he was based on a little bit of his body language and who he was hanging around. But through the entire conversation, the whole thing was about me. Not me, him. I'm busy. I have this. I have a busy practice. I have 6 kids. I have this. 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 We'll see. I have to go. Kind of strange. What motivates these kind of people? I think they want to help others, but I think it's more important for them to be in the limelight of helping others. Yes, they make their money in their practice, but they want to be in the limelight of being seen that they help others. I think that's more important. So, the tip of the iceberg that I want to share about this is that the typical, let's say, pompous type of doctor attitude is what came through every day. But when I met this person informally, let's say pompousness goes up to 100. When I met that, he was probably about a 10. Pretty low. So did I break a barrier? I think I did. I broke a barrier and I started to build trust. So where do you go from here? I think you send a letter. I think you send a letter. And I think when you send a letter, I think that's what's it. But the best way to do it, I think, is to send chocolates or to send something. Maybe that's the way. Maybe. And then there's the possibility that that person could ignore you. But I always say, ladies and gentlemen, that things happen for a reason. I was at this particular event, which I wasn't going to go to, but I went, and I bumped into that person. I bumped into 4 other people that potentially might be great connections for me. So when you are on the fence about something, and you don't have a negative feeling, but you're on the fence about doing something, do it. Because as long as there's no negative feelings, and nothing in that day was negative, I just was like, should I go? Should I not go? It wasn't like I was going to feel bad. There was another event that I was supposed to go at, I think it was a few weeks ago. And a friend had invited me. And another person was going to be there. And I tried to friend this person on Facebook. It was actually going to be the entertainer. And the person wanted me to come because they were going to be the person playing the piano and keyboard and whatnot. And I really wanted to go to see them perform. When I sent them a request back to friend me, they didn't even say a word. Thus, I got a negative feeling inside me that I was not welcome at that group. When you get those kinds of feelings, that's the time to pull out and say, you know what? Do something else. I'm serious. I think when it comes to connecting with people, whether they're business owners, CEOs, serial entrepreneurs like myself, there's an importance to understand what that person does. And then to make sure you're not connecting with them to sell to them. You're connecting with them to learn about them. I can't tell you how many people connect and say, gee, I love what XYZ does, and I'd love to get you involved in our products. That's a cold call. Or I love what you do, and I'd like to learn more. Learn more about what? Like, you don't say it. Those are just below the belt, really cheap ways to try to get people to call back. Or, somebody calls you and then they start leaving a message. And that's why you got to get back to me. And they leave, and here's my phone number. And where's the rest of the message? And so most people will call back. I don't. Because I know the game these people are playing. The game they're playing is, yes, let's get him to call me back. Or you need to call me back. I'm not calling you back. I don't recognize your phone number. I don't know your name. Even leave your name. Hi, this is Brian. You get the number. Like what? Where? And that's why I'm calling. And then they go. I'm like, get out of here. So if you cannot connect with somebody on a level that has mutual intention to benefit each other, that's a problem. It's a problem. I think what makes the difference with the people I connect with is I can tell very quickly whether somebody wants to connect with me, whether it's a guest for a radio show or my talk shows. I can tell whether that person is actually doing this to help themselves become a better version of themselves and help others become better versions of themselves, or if they're doing it to fill their own ego. And if they're doing it to fill their ego, I usually say, thank you for your time. We're just not a match. And that's okay. Just don't lead people on. That's probably the best thing that I can tell you. So we talked a lot today about the tip of the iceberg and the fact that just showing up does not mean you deserve business. Just being in business 20, 30, 40, 50 years does not mean you're getting business. Just because you're good in your field does not mean you're getting business. What gets you business is when you stand out, when other people say, oh, wow, that's different. I never thought of it like that. When you get creative and you arouse curiosity in other people, it causes them to have what? A conversation with you. What I do with that gentleman the other day, I had a conversation with him. My conversation started about his car. And that softened things. And I feel that when you're doing it from the heart, I didn't ask him for anything. Only thing I asked him for is to possibly help our charity. And when he came back with a remark that said, we'll see, that told me right now that I didn't share enough value to him about what I did. But I wasn't there to try to pitch myself. I was there to build a human personal connection. Maybe I'll bump into the person again. Who knows? But when I'm doing something with a purpose and intention that's to benefit each other, it has to work. It just might take a few times to get it to work. If I was doing that for a false pretense of reason, it would have backfired in my face. Karma goes forward and goes backward, meaning that when you shed good karma, it bounces back to you as well. If you shed bad karma, it bounces back to you. So why not share good karma? Why not take a look at what's below your iceberg and figure out what can make you package what you do differently? What can make you interesting or compelling to other people? What? Ask yourself these kinds of questions. You may not get the answer today or tomorrow, and write it down in a little journal or a book. Hey, everyone, I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. It has been an amazing privilege and pleasure to be with you tonight, as it is every single evening. Happy to do this earlier, as you know. Like, love, support my channel. Definitely comment below. We talk about the tip of the iceberg. Does this resonate with you? Let me know. And then tag your friends, colleagues, and associates. Share this out with everyone you know on social media. And then be sure to go to my YouTube channel, John space E space MORLEY space serial entrepreneur, and look for the key phrase, help keep our content free. And make the choice, ladies and gentlemen, today to buy my team a cup of coffee, glass of water, scoop of ice cream, maybe a slice of watermelon, glass of lemonade, or a yogurt, or fruit, And we'll invest those pennies and dollars into new hardware, new technology, new software, new facilities to give you the most jaw-dropping, motivational, intentional concepts to help you improve the quality of your life and everyone else in it. Remember, the key to improving your life is belief, and the second thing is consistency. Be sure to check out BelieveMeAchieve.com for more great videos to help change your life. Have yourself a wonderful evening, and I will be back tomorrow on Monday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.